Hello, everyone, and welcome to the MyFOURmula Way channel. I'm Coach Ray right here in the sunroom, and I want to thank you so much for joining me on this journey. First time I'm ever doing a YouTube channel, so I really appreciate if you can subscribe and turn on your notifications for this channel so any of the content we release you get right away. And my goal and intention here is to have in-depth discussions with leaders in our community to talk about their life's journey, obstacles they face, challenges they've overcome, and how they strive to live their lives filled with strength in the body, peace in the mind, freedom in the spirit, and love in the heart, the MyFOURmula Way. And I want to give a big shout out to Alex Silva. He's the person behind the scenes doing the video production and the first of this kind for him. So I really want to help and support him. You can check him out on Instagram at chino.mov. So I really hope you enjoy the content that you're going to be watching and listening to. And until we connect again, be healthy, be well, salute. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us today in the MyFOURmula Way podcast. I'm Coach Ray, and I'm just so excited once again to have a special guest on my show. Just knowing this person and talking to this person over the course of probably a year or so, just getting to know her has just been an honor and a privilege. And working with her son in this production and what we're doing together, it's just such a great thing. So I want to introduce Rocio Silva, who's the owner of R-Ramos Upholstery in the city of Newburgh. And she's such an amazing individual, such a leader, such an amazing mother and wife. And I'm just so honored for you to be on this show. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me here, Coach Ray. I am very, very privileged to be here.
Oh.
And it's my honor. And also I want to thank you to give my son the opportunity of working with you.
Oh man, he's given me the opportunity, so I appreciate that. And it just goes to show what kind of person you are, what kind of mother you are, what kind of wife you are, in terms of producing such an amazing individual. So I got to give him props. So he's behind the scenes. You can't see him, but you will be seeing him on a show of ours. Trust me. And so when we talk about the MyFOURmula Way and when we talk about who we're speaking to out there, I want to talk about your journey. I want to talk about the different things that you've been through, and then also the health and wellness part of your life and what you do on a day-to-day basis to get through these things. But, if anybody needs to know, R-Ramos Upholstery is in the city of Newburgh. She does amazing work of upholstery. I mean, huge clients and from small, medium, and big. She does it all.
Yes.
So, and in terms of nonprofits and stuff like that, I like to tell people at the beginning, because sometimes people don't make it to the end of a podcast. So I want to make sure that they know anything that you're involved in before we get into your journey. Are there any specific things you'd like to talk about R-Ramos Upholstery, and then also maybe some causes that you're involved in?
Well, R-Ramos Upholstery, it's a trade.
Mm-hmm.
So upholstering, sewing, cutting fabrics, getting involved with all this, it's a trade.
Yeah.
So what I would like to do is have people, interns, to come and learn the trade. So in the future, they can either work for us or have their own company or do their own house or do small projects, big projects. I mean, that's something that I have in mind
That's
to do.
great.
And in the future,
Yeah.
very, very close future.
Absolutely.
Soon.
Oh, that's
I want to
beautiful.
do this soon.
That's great, yeah, and that's so important, right? You're giving opportunities for people, giving them skills that they can learn and then they can do on their own. And the fact that you're saying that they can open up their own place, I mean, that just shows your mindset as far as the future is concerned, which is so important,
Yes, basically it's like I need somebody to replace me. Okay? And this actually I never thought about it, but my son told me, like, Mom, what will happen if one day you are sick or you can come to work? Who's gonna do it?
Yeah.
How many of you, like, you can do everything, but you need people who can do what you do.
Exactly.
So I said, you need to train people. You need more of Rocios. Imagine, like, you did this, you need more people like you, more people that can do the same things.
Absolutely.
And can replace you one day.
Yeah.
Actually, I replace Victor Ramos,
Exactly.
who was the original owner from R-Ramos Upholstery,
Yeah.
and his wife. So it was a marriage. They started the business. And then I learned from them, and I replaced them because they retire and they did their own life. And then now my son is like, okay, he waited 30 years, because he worked
To
30
keep it going.
years,
Yeah, absolutely.
and now it's going to take you 30 years. And I go, no, you got to do it
Sooner.
sooner.
Wow.
Sooner. So I don't have to wait until I retire
Exactly.
to get the company running. And we did like a very small experiment last week. We were on vacation. I went away for a week, and I left my shop running with my staff. And one of the things is like you have to trust your people, you have to trust your employees, and you have to let them make the decisions that you will make. And then that's how you know if you are doing the right thing.
Gotcha.
And actually, I was very, very impressed because they did such a good job. They felt the responsibility of being in charge. And I know that sooner or later, some of them are going to have their own business, or they're going to be able to take over me.
That's great. That's incredible. And, that kind of shows what your journey's about, just in that format and just in that understanding. So I want to take it back. I want to take it back to where you grew up, what your upbringing was, and what kind of things you were involved in growing up, and what kind of life that was for you, so that people can understand where you come from, to even have this mindset that you're just talking about. Like, what was that like for you growing up?
Well, I grew up in Mexico City up to 16 years old. So but my mother, she used to have like a very small business also. She used to do clothing. Okay. So I used to help my mother. And then my dream was to be dressmaker. I wanted to do dresses, and so I actually went to school for that.
Oh, yeah.
But then life brought us to Newburgh. And
wow.
then
From Mexico
to Newburgh.
That's amazing.
My father was already living in Newburgh.
Okay.
So he was going back and forth to Mexico. And then one day he's like, you know what? You guys can come over for 2 years, and we're just going to, make some money and go back to Mexico and, do the business, start our own business.
What was that like for you?
To me, it was like, when you grow up in the Mexican culture or in the Spanish culture, is what your parents says, that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
You had no say. Like if your parents told you, like, you have to do this to a certain age, that's what you have to do. You don't question them.
Yeah.
You just do what they say. And I said, I didn't question my parents. Gotcha. In a way, I knew like they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, yeah.
I think.
yeah, that's what you believe.
Yes.
Yeah, that's you.
That's what our beliefs. Like, like my parents said so. That's because that's how it is. Wow. That's the way it has to be. Yeah. So anyway, we came here and we never left.
And you were 16 at the time?
I was 16 years at the time.
That's such a pivotal age too, right? I mean, thinking about being a teenager and being here in
Newburgh.
Yeah, what was that?
So it was hard because I didn't speak any English.
Okay.
But at the same time, I was just here for 2 years. Gotcha. So who cares? 2 years and I'm going to go back.
Okay.
So I just was trying to survive for the first 2 years and learn whatever I could. But in those 2 years, in the first year, I started working at Victor R-Ramos Upholstery. Okay. So I started working with him.
What did you start out as? What was that?
At 17 years old. So I just went and applied because they told me like they do sewing and stuff like that. So I said, this is what I wanted to do. I started working in McDonald's. But I said that in McDonald's was great because I learned a lot.
Exactly.
But I said, I want something that I'm passionate about, sewing and putting things together. So I thought I was going to be doing clothing. Okay. And then when I went there, it was upholstery. I never heard upholstery in my life.
Oh, wow.
It was, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. And then they took me because they didn't have, no, first he was like, you're too young. I don't know if you can do this. And I said, yes, try me. I know how to sew.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you don't know these machines. And I said, I know these machines. So he gave me the opportunity
Wow.
to start. And then I started working with him, and then he adopted me as a daughter.
Get out of here.
Yes, he was just like, you're my, they never treat me as an employee.
Wow.
They always treat me as their
Family.
own, as family.
Wow.
And then we became really, really close. And I became really, really close with their daughter, their son, and everybody in the family, in the Ramos family. So they're like my other family.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes. And then we worked together for 19 years.
19 years. Wow.
19 years. And then they retired.
Okay.
And then I took over the business.
So you took over the business. When did you start to get that idea
Of taking over the
of
business?
taking over the business?
Well,
Like, how-
actually, it was funny because he sold the business to another person.
Okay.
And he told me, like, okay, I said, why you're selling Ramos Upholstery to this person when I can run it for you?
Yeah.
You know, you can go and I can run it for you or sell it to me. And he says, you're not ready.
Oh, wow.
He says, you're not ready for this yet. Work for him, and you're going to work for him, and then, you're going to be fine.
Okay.
That's all he told me. You're going to be fine. I was like, I was so mad at him.
Yeah, because...
I was so mad at him. And I said, why? And he's like, listen to what I'm telling you.
Okay.
You're
Trust.
not ready.
Trust that, yeah.
You're not ready. So I said, okay. So I worked for this person for 2 years. And he didn't have the passion that Mr. Ramos had. And this is where I go back to say, you need to train people from the bottom so they can have the passion, so they can love their work and love what they're doing. You cannot just come and buy a business without knowing anything about it. It's not a production business.
Yeah.
Like you don't do this like make 100 of this, make 200,000 of this. No,
Yeah.
this is something that you do every day differently with your hands. Every project is new. Every project it's for somebody special. Somebody's looking up for this.
Yeah.
So the person that bought this business, he didn't know anything about it.
Okay.
So that business was not for him.
Gotcha.
But I was able to keep up the business for 2 years with him. Because I was running the business, I was talking to the clients, I was making sure that everything was with the same quality, everything the same as Victor Ramos did it, just to keep my job.
Yeah.
But this didn't work for that person. And then one day he's like, okay, so they were going to close the business. Because it was just,
It
not
wasn't
for her.
working. Okay.
It was not working. So he said, we're going to close the business. And Victor called me and said, like, you know what? Now it's your time.
He
Buy
knew
it
that was time. Yeah.
for less. And now you're ready. Because he trained you you did it for 2 years.
Yeah.
Now you're ready to do it on your own.
Wow.
And that's how I was like, I take the opportunity of, doing it my own, or we were going to have 7 people without a job.
Wow.
So I talked to the guys, and I said, okay, so this is what we're going to do. If you guys are with me, we can continue the business. If not, then everybody's going to have, we're going to be unemployed.
Yeah.
So we took the risk, and here we are.
Wow. And what was that like for you to be able to become an owner of a business? What was that feeling like to start, and especially when it comes to you, and now you, oh, wow, what do I do now?
Well,
Did you
it was
feel ready for it? Did you feel
Well,
prepared
it
by
was-
that time?
It was I guess when you come from a background that you have to do what you have to do when they told you to do it,
Yeah.
you had no excuse. Like, I think when you have that background, like nothing is impossible, you can just do it. You just throw yourself into the,
Yeah.
you just go. But it was hard to become the boss. It's a transition because before you're an employee.
Yeah.
So now you're not an employee. So I had to learn to be out of that and learn how to be a boss.
Exactly.
So not only a boss, but a leader. Because now it's like, but I did it for 2 years already. a little bit like it's not totally my responsibility, but I was responsible enough to do the job and get the job completed and guide them. So I was like, if I was able to do that, I'm going to keep on doing the same thing, but yes, with the responsibility that I'm in charge of paying rent, payroll, and everything else. And thanks to my husband that he was able to, because he's more organized.
Okay.
Something that I don't have. Mm-hmm. I'm not too organized, but he's very organized.
Gotcha.
So he was, he came and like, okay, I'm going to do the books. So he's doing the books, the accountability, and because I can't function money and production and art. Doesn't mix.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to balance the two. Yeah, no doubt.
Yes. So he does the money part, and I just make sure that the job gets completed.
Yeah.
And I always say to him, money, it's yes, the result. That comes after. That comes, if you do a good job, that comes with it. I don't worry about that profit.
Yeah.
And yes, I don't worry about the profit. Yeah. He does.
And that's what's good. That's a great partnership. Where you're where your skill level is and where it lies.
Exactly.
And he has his skills, and you coming together. That's a beautiful match.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit hard in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because as a marriage, we already have our own roles.
Yes.
When we became partners again on a business.
That's different, right?
That's different.
Yeah.
Because I was boss.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, no, I know what I'm doing. Your ego gets slapped up to like,
Yeah.
And it's like hard because then you have to go back again and say, okay, I'm good at this. You're good at that. So let's combine. Otherwise, we would have like, have divorce over the business.
Yeah, because it's the stress and challenge.
It's a very stress, and also who's going to take care of the kids.
Yeah,
we still had the business, 2 kids, and a bunch of responsibilities.
Yeah, and how old were the kids at the time
that
you took over?
My kids were, Alex is 9 years old.
Yeah, wow.
And my daughter was 6.
Wow, so they're young. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on.
My kids, they used to come from the bus, and I used to get them down right in front of the shop. Wow. They used to come to the shop and do their homework there.
Yeah. So that was home. That was
their other house.
Yeah.
Remember, I worked with them all the time, so they always came to the shop.
Okay.
I always worked through my pregnancies until I was ready to go to the hospital. In 7 weeks, I was back to work.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So I was like, amazing. My kids, they were raised in the shop.
Yeah.
Basically. My Victor used to say, like, they already know the song with the machine.
Yeah.
Like, they know they're home.
That's amazing.
So my kids grew up in the shop.
Yeah.
Basically. Like, so for them, me being the owner or not, it was nothing different.
Because they were always there.
They were always there anyway.
Wow.
And now I had new workers and they had their kids. And I always told them, like, if you need to bring them to the shop, bring them to the shop.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Let your kids know where you at.
Yeah.
Let them know what you're doing.
Wow.
Because I think that's a different podcast probably.
No, but that's good, yeah.
If your kids know what you're doing, where you at, they're going to, if you're not home.
Yeah.
They're going to, they're going to have a peace of mind. Absolutely. That I know where my mom is and I know what she's doing.
Yeah. And you're showing them ways on what work ethic is, on what showing up is, and what putting in this hard work is a testament to just how they can see what the result and outcomes are of that, right? When they can go to your shop and see that there's a comfortable environment that you're creating there as a leader, and also that there's people that they can trust and they're coming to, but then also, wow, how do you do this? Maybe how many entrepreneurs can come out of that? That's pretty special.
And they, all my clients, they come in and they ask for Alex, they ask for Abby, they even ask for the dog because the dog used to come to the shop too.
That's great.
So they get familiar with all our clients, and then we have clients who come, continuously. So they become family too.
That's amazing.
Our clients become really good friends. I have a lot of good friends that are my clients.
Yeah.
We just become family, everything.
great.
So I think this is something that I want this to continue.
Yeah. And it's great, it's such a great mindset as a leader that you are on how to create that environment. So what was it like for you culturally in terms of coming from Mexico to Newburgh and kind of finding your way to understand the culture of being in New York and Newburgh and the culture of Mexico and making sure that what you brought with you and where you are can continue and combine? What was that like for you?
It is. I think you are who you are no matter where you go. You can be in New York, you can be in China, you can go back to your country. And you are Mexican, you're Puerto Rican, you are from wherever part of the world you are. But I think your person is who, carries you to, no matter where you are, you're going to, like I said, I was talking to my friend yesterday and I say, you know what? I think the most important part, like, is being an immigrant.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go with the mindset that everybody's looking at you as an immigrant, they're going to look at you as an immigrant.
Yeah.
But if you go there like, this is who I am, they're going to look at you as a person.
Absolutely.
They're not going to look at you like, oh, you're Mexican or you're Puerto Rican or you're... No.
Whatever, yeah.
I am Rocio. Like when you tell me who you are, I am Rocio.
Yeah.
That come from Mexico. And I just don't feel... I have a lot of good friends that open the doors for me. American, people from here, no matter what color, what race, they just open the doors to me.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it's just the energy that you carry.
Yeah, and that presence is amazing.
The energy that you have a positive energy. You're not looking to see who's looking at you wrong.
Exactly.
Even if you have an accent.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's the great thing, just having that mindset. I think that's what's so important for people to understand and to listen to and hear is to be who you are. Mm-hmm. Be who you are and embrace each part of that, of who you are. Whatever you want to improve upon, you improve upon, whatever that means to you.
Yes.
And, so coming from Mexico, coming to Newburgh and creating this environment just kind of shows your drive. So what was it that drove you to want to continue to, to want to get into that role of a leader? What do you think kind of drove you inside to do that?
I think I come from a family that are leaders.
Okay.
Most of my family, they have their own businesses.
Yeah.
My brother has his own business. My other brother, he's a leader. My father, even he's a little bit quiet, but he was our leader. Mm. And then I got involved with the Ramos family, and there are a bunch of leaders.
Gotcha.
I think like the people who you get involved with. Mm. And it's funny because I was saying like, what? It's funny, and it's not coincidence that somebody that has a great energy, and you just met him at the first time, and then you like them, and you can talk about, and then as you start the conversation, they know somebody else that you also know.
Yeah.
And that person knows another person that you know, and then you discover that you're in a circle of great people with the same energy.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that happens to you, but that happens to me a lot.
Very often, yeah.
Yes. So and then being a leader, it's more like I feel responsible for my shop, for my employees. Yeah. I want them to have a good day. Mm-hmm. They listen to the music they want to listen to. They feel at home.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own spot, their own bench, and they can have whatever they feel like. They make that their little home.
Yeah.
Like space great. Of work. My husband is like, we have to keep the shop clean, because that gives them, they feel good coming into work.
Yeah,
yes.
Pride too. That's great.
So
Yeah,
that's
that's
part
excellent.
that he does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I can't.
Yeah, yeah. Again, you each have your skills. Yeah, exactly.
Same thing
Utilize
at
them.
home.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you come back home, I want you to feel good.
Yeah.
I don't want you to be stressed, picking up everything it's everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, I think part of being organized is very important. That I don't have that skill, but he does.
That's great. Yeah. Again, the partnership is beautiful.
Yes.
So what was your biggest struggle or barrier while you were looking into developing your craft and your skills and what you're doing? What were some of the barriers, or maybe one big barrier that you needed to overcome or get through or get past? Or were there several?
Confidence.
Confidence. Tell me about that. Yeah.
Confidence, because you can do something that you think is right, but then you don't have the confidence that you're doing the right thing.
Okay.
One thing is because I work with a lot of designers.
Okay.
Okay, so they have something in mind. They already seen the picture of the piece that they want, that they design. So they describe you what they want. For me to interpret what they want and make it and give it to them as a final product, it's always challenging.
Okay.
Because if I don't trust in myself, I'll give them the wrong product. So that was like something that I had to learn to trust. Like the first thing read their minds.
Gotcha.
Read their minds. We would do a lot of work for the theater.
Oh, okay.
So there is the designer, and then there is the props production manager. So there's 3 people. So whatever the designer wants, he tells the prop manager, and then the prop manager brings it up to me.
Oh, okay.
And then I have to give the same, I have to let my staff know what they want. So there is like 1, 2, 3, 4 persons
Gotcha. Yeah.
that you have to go through to get the right product.
And then to bring it to them and then get the approval.
And get the
all that.
approval.
Oh, wow. So there's many stages to it.
Many stages, but then
Okay.
I think that I overcome that, where I know when they're talking to me, I already know what they want. And this is something that for Broadway productions, you can't be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be on point. And so you struggled with the confidence probably at the beginning of just learning how to do that?
At the beginning, because one time they called me like, oh, we have this big job for Radio City Music Hall. And you
All
need
of a
to
sudden,
come.
Your heart's pounding, right? It's
I'm like,
what?
okay. So you have to come and talk to the designers and da-da-da. I'm like, okay, I'll go. I go there, and there is a conference table with 12 persons just waiting for me.
Wow.
So I can come and tell them how the project was going to get done.
Wow. What was that like?
I was like, I didn't expect that. I was just like, oh. So they wanted me to talk about it, write it in paper. I was like, listen, this is not how I work. I think if you want me to show you what I'm going to do, we need to go to the floor.
Okay. Yeah.
And go to the, to the workshop, and I'll tell you there what I'm going to do.
Yeah. How did they take that?
They were like, this is what, and they gave me the conference and say, like, if she wants to go there, that's because that's what she needs, and that's, they were fine with it.
Wow. How did you prepare for that?
I didn't prepare.
You didn't? You just went in and that's what you did. That's amazing.
I just went in there, and then I just came with ideas, and then came back to the shop, and I said, okay, guys, this is what we're going to do. This big gigantic eggs that we had to do some tufting and put buttons on it, and they're like huge and round and hard, and then I said, like, okay, this is what we're going to do. So on my way back, I was planning, like, okay, so I just told them that I can do this in 1 week.
What? Oh,
and I can't be wrong. So I start planning in my head. And also I let my staff help me and ask them their opinion.
Oh, okay.
It's not like I don't just say, like, you're going to do this and this is how it is because I say so.
Yeah.
I bring up to the plan and I say, okay, guys, this is what we got to do. how can we do it? Give me,
Yeah.
take everybody's ideas.
That's great.
And respect. Like, you have the ability to do this. You're good at this. You're good at that. Okay, so put it together and trust. They trust me. I have to trust my employees.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And then we did it. We did it right. And then.
That's so great. So, as you talked about relationships and you talked about being a leader, what we end up doing in the MyFOURmula Way and the whole process of MyFOURmula is all about learning about health and wellness. But there's so many, components to it and so many targets to hit. So one of the first ones we talk about is physical health. And physical health meaning exercise and nutrition. And everybody's journey is different in that. And so I'd love to talk about your journey with physical health and the strength in your body. In order to become this leader, what do you do and what have you done, or maybe some of the things you've done in your life for exercise and nutrition? What are some of the things that you focus on throughout your life to be healthy as possible in that way?
Well, I do try to work out at least 2 to 3 times a week.
Excellent.
I have a bicycle downstairs in my house.
Yeah.
So I always do a little bit of exercise. Not like I always wanted to do more.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm too tired.
Because you
after
work
working
a lot of hours. I know that.
14
I know
hours
from
a
Alex.
day, 12 hours a day,
That's a lot. Yeah.
come back home. Cooking, it's something that I love to do, but I don't have the time.
Yeah.
So I feel really, really guilty with my kids because
Yeah.
sometimes we have to eat out a lot.
Yeah.
But
sometimes that's the balance, right? It's you're working hard. Yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but we try to choose like good places to eat.
Yeah.
But I think I can do better on
Okay.
the nutrition.
Yeah.
But I think we're okay.
Yeah.
But that's something that I start and then I don't, I start like, okay, we're going to be drinking juices, green juices, getting healthy food, and then I do it for a week or 2, and then I go back to like, normal. That's something that I would like to improve.
Yeah.
But I don't exercise like a routine all the time, but
Okay.
I try to
Exactly.
work out, and I love it.
Yeah.
I feel good when I do it. All my stress goes away. Like, I really feel really good when I work out.
That's excellent.
Like, even half an hour, you put your right music.
Yeah.
Well, we've been planning to do workroom downstairs and, to do... That's something that we just, keep on pushing it. But I think we're going to have to, do it.
But that's what's so good. Like, you whenever you recognize that that's something you got to do more of,
yes.
you can start throwing that into your life. I think that's the important message here is not everybody's perfect with it. Not everybody's going to be optimal with it. But you know that it exists, and you know that it's going to help you out as being a better person and a leader and better with your family and
yes.
stuff like that. And what's good is that it led you to other levels of health. So,
yes.
So how physical health and exercise and nutrition, when you said that, it makes you feel good, that kind of leads to the mental health part of MyFOURmula and MyFOURmula Way. A lot of times when we exercise and we eat, good, healthy things that we feel is healthy, a lot of times it helps our mental health. So what's been your journey as far as mental health and keeping your mind at peace as much as possible, especially being a leader, being a mom, being an owner of a company, being a wife and a daughter and all this other stuff? What have you done in your journey to kind of keep that peace of mind?
I think it's when I feel very stressed or more stressed than other days, I drink water. And water helps me, because sometimes what I notice that when I don't drink enough water, I get like a little bit of anxiety.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do this and that and I don't do anything.
Yeah.
So when I drink more water, and I notice that when I have a really good breakfast, sometimes what I do is, I don't have the time, but sometimes what I do is I go to Anna's restaurant.
Yeah.
And I get 2 eggs, my fries, my coffee, and then I eat in peace with nobody bothering me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just sit at the window, look out, look at all the cars. And I say, all these people are going to work. They're going somewhere. The world is moving.
Yeah.
Newburgh is moving. So as they're moving out, like very soon I'm going to go out too. So I say after I have a good breakfast, I feel like I produce more.
Gotcha.
Because now I don't have, if I go straight to work, what happens is I do a little something and then I go get my coffee.
Yeah.
And then I just have a sip and then I go get a piece of bread and then I have another sip and then by then my coffee is cold and then I have to go and warm it up. By then I already lost like 20 minutes going back and forth.
Gotcha.
Versus when I have a good breakfast, I come home, I come to work and I just do what I have to do. My mind is not distracted.
Gotcha. Yeah, so you took that time out for yourself to just make sure you have that
Yes.
peace of mind.
Yes.
That's important. It's important because you have so many responsibilities.
Yes.
To be in that place of peace is crucial, not just to yourself, not just to your business, but your staff, your employees, and your family and community. And with peace in the mind and mental health, I generally talk about sleep as well, because sleep is just so important. But, you had mentioned before, 14-hour work days are no joke, so, and especially with children and all that. So what does sleep mean to you? Are you able to get enough sleep or
yes.
not? Yeah?
No, I always sleep.
Yeah,
like
that's
as soon
good.
as I get to my pillow, that's
you're out.
it. And I know that my kids are home.
Yeah. You can pass out.
I can pass out.
That's great.
When my son is out or whatever, I can't sleep.
Yeah.
And I sometimes I say to them, like, I know you're out but I can't sleep.
Yeah.
And I have to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
I just can't because I don't have the peace of mind. But when all the family is at home and everything, then I can.
You're good.
Yes,
All right, so I'm going to have to tell Alex to come home early from now on.
Yes, like last night we were out.
Yeah.
And we came like around 12. He went out with his friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember texting him, like, don't come back too late.
Yeah.
And then I fell asleep. And I woke up like 2:30 in the morning. And I'm like, where's Alex?
Yeah.
And my husband like, he's sleeping. How do you know? I'm like, he's sleeping. I'm like, okay. Do you check if his car is outside? He's like, he's sleeping, girl. Go to sleep. Like, okay.
And that's the responsibility of a mom,
and then I was
right?
late, and then I just peace of mind again. Like, okay, my kid is good. Then I can go to sleep.
Gotcha.
But I think that's always going to be in the mom,
No doubt. And that's the important part, I think, of the role of a parent, right? Of a mom. But, we always want to emphasize that sleep is important as best as you can.
Yes.
Because it does. It refreshes you for the morning. So maybe you can have that breakfast. You can get to the office or you can get to your shop and make sure that you're as on point as you can be. Because you want to be as available for the situations that come up, because I'm sure there's, you're putting out fires as well in terms of business and what you have to, deal with.
And it's another part, like I go back again, like if I was more organized, and this is on me, if I'm more organized and I can prepare something for my breakfast in the morning at home, and I can create this routine, and probably I can do more in less time.
Gotcha.
But that's something that I have to work on.
Yeah, and you're much more than capable of doing it because of, again, the story we've been talking about you of your drive from where you've come from to where you are today. That's just another thing that I'm sure you're going to get to someday, and everybody's is different. So whatever that means for you is something that you can work toward. And that's the whole goal of talking to people in this podcast, is knowing that that journey is never ending and it's going to continue. But that also leads into freedom in the spirit. So it's, when I talk about spiritual health, I always talk about inspiration and what it is that inspires you to do what you're doing, create what you create, and learning how to believe in yourself. So was there a time, when we talked about it before, when you didn't have that confidence, but what makes it in your life to be inspired and to believe in yourself right now with all you have going on? Okay.
So we are like the reflection, your kids, So whatever I feel like I'm doing right now is going to help my kids in the future. So that drives me to be better, to be in peace, to be having the peace of mind that I'm doing my best.
Yeah.
So that gets me, and also have more empathy with people and with my own kids. And my husband.
Yeah.
I think that breaks me, like, if I can be on their shoes and feel what they're feeling, and put myself into their own person, I think I can feel more like in peace of thinking like, I'm doing the best that I can.
Absolutely.
Having that empathy with them.
Yeah.
Not only with them, but with my employees, with my friends, with everybody.
Yeah.
Or anybody.
Anybody, yeah. And so what do you have processes with your creativity, because you are artistic with creating the upholsteries that you do? What's sort of your creative process of how you're able to express yourself and then allow your staff to express themselves too? What are some of those processes that you go through?
Well, I just like I told you, like I can see a finished product.
You can see it.
I can see it. I
gotcha.
have that picture. I already know. I had the vision.
Oh, all right.
And I think that's the something like a gift, and that you can see the final product, or you
work toward that.
or you know what they want,
Okay.
or what they need.
Yeah.
I think their needs, and then you try to do the best that you can, so you can complete
that product.
Gotcha. That product. I think that's I just feel gifted, like
That's
I just had
yeah, wow.
And then I just try to be in peace, try to listen to people, just listen to what they have to say, how they feel, and have that. I feel like spiritually, I do believe in God.
Yeah.
And I think that He is there, and then He is looking after my family. The Ramos family was also very, very, very Christian people who believe in God, and they and I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. Not too much into religion, but more like into
the spirit of it. Yeah.
The spirit of it.
And that's the spiritual health.
Because at the end of the day, when something is impossible and you don't have anywhere else to go, there's only one.
Yeah.
That you can go up to and ask. Sometimes when I don't have the it's not on me, that where is my kid, that everything is going to be okay with them. I just ask God, like, that, that He protects them and,
Gotcha.
and clear their path,
Yeah.
and meet the right people.
Yeah.
And
allowing that to come through you, because I believe, like you said before, your gift, right? Your gift of the vision of that end thing. Where is that coming from, right? So that can, everybody has their own journey with that, and that relationship with whatever that spirit is, God, the universe, energy, whatever you want to call it.
And yes.
But you have that connection with that thing, and I believe that that's what that end result is, to visualize that. And that's such a great gift to have. But were there ways that you were able to enhance that vision, like or it just comes to you?
Yes,
it just comes.
My kids told me, like, you're a witch.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not a witch, because sometimes I told them something that is going to happen.
Yeah, but they can't see it, right?
They
you
like,
see it.
I said, like, that's gonna, and then they're like, and I said, guess what? And they were like, oh, okay, Ma, what happened?
Yeah.
Like sometimes I had dreams, and they just become true.
Wow.
And it comes always from people who with the same energy. Like, we were in Mexico, and I said, I had this dream where I dreamed with Mr. Ramos. Well, I came to the shop, and then everything was like upside down. I'm trying to see what's going on because I was away, so I came back. And then I see this big truck unloading chairs. And I said, where did the truck came from? Like, who's that? And I'm so mad, thinking like, how I'm going to get this done plus that. and I don't even know. And then I go in the back of my shop, and then I see Mr. Ramos talking to these people and saying, yes, bring the chairs down, yes, bring them down, yes, bring them down. And then I go to him and like, what's wrong with you? Who told you to? Like, what happened? Yeah. And he's like, oh, my girl, Rocio, I told them, like, you can handle this and more, so you're going to get all these chairs that they want you to do. And I just looked at him like, are you serious? And he's like, stop whining. You can do this.
Wow.
And then I told my kids the dream that I had. So like, oh my God, that's beautiful, because I love him as my father.
Father, yeah, exactly.
I love him a lot.
Yeah.
So I know always he has like a message for me all the time. So I came back to work, and before we came back, I had this phone call from one of my big clients, and he's like, okay, Rosie, I forgot to tell you, but there is a list of pieces that you need to get done before the end of the week, next week. So when you come back, welcome back, because you'll have all this work to do. Wow. And I said to my kids, you see, I told you.
Yeah, exactly. And that came through a dream. That's amazing.
So, and I think it's just the energy that Mr. Ramos believed in me all the time.
Yeah.
And then you have to trust your parents.
Yeah.
And he was like my father.
That's
so you have
great.
to trust your parents that when they tell you something, is because they love you.
Yeah.
And they know. I want my kids to know that.
Yeah, and yeah, you're a prime example of that. And you said the key word right there is love, right? Mm-hmm. So, that leads us to emotional health and what I call love in the heart. Mm-hmm. And when you travel through the physical, the mental, the spiritual, and emotional health, when you lead to the love in the heart, you've talked about it many times, of the love that you have for the Ramos family, as well as the love you have for your family that that raised you, and then the love that you have for your family that you've created with your husband, and then the love you have for your staff and the community, which is amazing. So talk about relationship. Talk about love and relationship. Love with yourself first, and then the love you have for others and what you're able to give. What is that what has that journey been for you?
Well, the love for myself, I learned to love myself as I am. Because I am not perfect. But I love myself, and I like to look good. And that's why I exercise, because when something doesn't fit me, it's like, I don't want to be, I want that dress to fit me right. I want those, I love myself, I always turn to my kids, how's my hair?
Yeah.
No, maybe not today, but.
You look good. You look great.
How's my hair? How's this? Like always picking out these little things for myself. And then my kids see that. They're always like, oh, mommy. Like I said, because it has to be special, because it has to be chuchi. And then they already know that that's mommy.
Yeah.
Mommy wants to go to have good food, go to a nice place.
Yeah.
No, because I do. I deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely. You work hard.
Because I deserve it. I work hard for it.
Exactly.
So if they don't want to come with me, they can stay.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to do this for me. Because I'm going to go out with my friends when I want to, because I want to love myself. So if I feel good with me, I can be in peace, and then I can give more.
That's great.
I can give more, and I can be, I won't be frustrated. I won't be that wife that's frustrated.
Yeah.
Or that 46-year-old that is frustrated because it hasn't complete what she wanted it in life.
Yeah.
I think I still have more to do, but at my 46, I feel that I already, I feel good with myself.
Yeah.
I feel that I did as much as I could to, at my age.
And so how do you build those trusting relationships? So you talk about loving yourself, which is, you can't do anything else without loving yourself, I don't believe. So what do you do to cultivate those trusting relationships between your staff and your family and friends? What kind of things do you do?
That's what I say. Sometimes people say don't trust everybody because people are bad, because sometimes you trust somebody and they're going to turn back to you.
Yeah.
And this and I say, you know what? I don't really look at people that they can do something wrong to me, because I don't feel like I ever want to do something wrong to anybody. Why they would do something wrong to me? Why? And so my husband is like, you just leave your money everywhere. You just leave your stuff, like somebody can just come and steal. And I said, why somebody will come and steal?
Yeah.
That's because you have that peace of mind. You don't have this like background saying like, oh, because when I was little, they did this to me. I just feel like I don't carry.
You don't carry it with you.
I don't carry stuff with me.
That's incredible to do.
I don't carry. In 24 years of marriage, there's a lot of things that go,
The journey of that alone, yeah. And that's relationship, right? Yeah, exactly.
And I said to my sometimes some things I do carry.
Exactly. You keep it back here
just in case I need them.
My wife does that very well. I know that.
But I try not to. To because you can't.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you just carry all this negativity with you. And then
and like you don't leave an open door for new things to come in, right? Yeah.
No, I try not to. Sometimes, I try not to. But I think that's the whole thing. My husband is like, you just trust people too easy. And I go, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Especially if you get involved with the right people with the same energy.
Yeah.
What can go wrong?
Yeah.
And if it happens, it happens. You will learn from it.
Exactly. Absolutely. And I think that's what's so important about what you bring up, with your husband. I mean, 24 years of building a relationship, I think is so important for people to know that it's a journey.
It is.
What happened 24 years ago when you met to where you are today. There are ups and downs in relationship. There's in and out, ups, downs, left, right, east, west, whatever it is. Yeah. What has that been like for you?
Well, we're two different persons today than we were 24 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm not who I was 24 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's not who he was 24 years ago.
Yeah.
We're two different people. We grew up together.
Yeah.
And as we grow up, we compromise with each other. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, things can go wrong. But at the end of the day, we have two beautiful children that we have to, lead up an example for.
Absolutely.
And sometimes we're not the best example.
Hey, it happens.
We're not.
Exactly.
We're not the best example, but we try to do our best.
Yeah. And I think that's what's so important that you show is that it takes work. It takes effort. But what we discussed before, even off camera, I remember you were talking about that, he's an individual and I'm an individual.
Yes.
Talk a little bit more about that because that was so great. I wish we were recording at that time because that was just such a great conversation.
Yes. We were talking about is like we've been married for 24 years. And what I learned is that we're not one person. We are two persons. That he is an individual, I'm an individual, and we want different things. And we came out from two different families.
Yeah.
And he grew up differently than I did. He had his own things that he had to go through in Newburgh, and I had mine. But at the end of the day, we compromise. To, he has to accept me how I am, disorganized. But talented.
Yes, very talented, yeah.
And I have to accept that he is very organized, but sometimes he is very talented too, but on his own way,
Gotcha.
He does his own things.
Okay.
And recognize your partner. I think recognition is very important.
Yeah. And how do you do that? How do you recognize the other person on a day-to-day basis? What are there certain things that you do to recognize each other?
Yes, like I mean, he does auto body.
Yes.
He does, he works with his hands too. He's also a leader at his work. He manages people too.
Excellent.
But he's very, very responsible, and he always tries to do the best of him at his job.
Yeah.
And I recognize that he's a good person.
Absolutely.
Has good, he's very responsible.
He's a great guy,
He's very responsible, and he's responsible with his kids.
Yes.
And with me in the house.
Yeah.
And I recognize that from him a lot.
And I believe that all comes down to trust. Like you said before, the trust that you have in your staff. You went away on vacation. last week or the week before, and you trust your staff. But what does trust mean to you with the relationship with your husband and with your children? What does that mean
the
to
trust is that you can't control anybody.
Yeah.
You can't control nobody's actions. They can control my actions. I am the owner of my own actions. So I trust that to my kids, that I teach them right, or at least to make the right decisions. If they don't, it's their own actions.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to suffer the consequences. As a mother, of course, I'm always going to be there behind them.
Yeah, exactly.
For my husband, I'm always going to be behind him too.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I do things that are wrong. And my husband, I know that I'm going to have his back.
Yeah.
And with my employees, actually, that was my son's idea. Like, Mom, you have to really leave the shop.
Yeah.
If it was for me, I would never leave it.
Yeah, I'm sure that was very hard for you.
For me, it was like, but you know what? I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to do this. And I did it, and I feel really good. I was not stressed at the trip. I was like, call me if you need me. I had the trust on them.
That's great.
And one day, I want to have the trust in my kids that when they go out and they're on their own, they're going to do the right thing. If they don't, they're going to learn from it.
Yeah. And you guys will be there for them.
And then always.
That's amazing.
Like my daughter, she went to an open house on Friday.
Yeah.
And she went by herself. We didn't went with her.
Wow.
And afterwards, I feel guilty because I said, I should go with my daughter to the open house. My daughter was like, everybody was with their parents, and they asked me, where are your parents at? And I said, I came by myself.
And she just wanted to do that on her own.
And she just wanted to do that.
Wow.
Because that's what she wants to do. She wants to be a pastry chef.
Oh, wow.
So she went for an open house, and she went and get all the information that she needs.
All
and
by herself?
She all by her,
Wow.
all by herself. So I was like, you know what? In a way, it's good.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of throwing her because she's a woman, and I know that women can do these things.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Women are powerful.
Very.
Women are like, tell me what I need to do.
Exactly.
We're easier to come through the obstacles. Like we just do it.
Absolutely.
Well, you have to deliver a child. They don't ask you like, how do you want it?
Yeah, exactly.
You just have to do it.
Yeah, I'm very grateful I didn't have to do that. But, seeing what my wife went through and to see that, the strength of that is just insane. It's just absolutely insane.
Yeah, my first child, 17 hours in labor.
Wow.
And nobody, he didn't want to come out. He was happy. He was happy with mommy.
Exactly.
But with my daughter, I can just I said, go, Abby.
Absolutely.
She's already, she works in a restaurant, at the bistro.
Yeah.
And she's an intern. She started as an intern, then they hire her.
Wow.
She works 2 days a week, and she's great. She loves what she does, and then I think she's gonna have a bright future.
Yeah. Well, there's no doubt. I mean, no doubt with them. They're bright futures as we stand right now. You know what I mean? So.
And again, it comes back to the community in Newburgh.
Yeah.
Mike Kelly gave my daughter the opportunity. Coach Ray giving opportunity to Alex. I want to give opportunity to people to learn. If we all work together as a community,
absolutely.
I think no matter where we at, all the Liberty Street, every time they need anything or poster, they will call me and come into the restaurant with the Mama Ruth's restaurant with the.
Oh, which is amazing. Oh, I didn't know you did that. Oh my God,
yes,
that place is awesome.
We did Mr. Fairfax.
Yeah.
And we're always try to, and we want to go and eat something good.
Yeah.
We go to those places.
Excellent.
Because we know it's
the
good.
Food's great.
Healthy,
Yeah.
it's great.
Absolutely.
And we support the community.
Yeah.
And then we're just in the same circle.
Yeah. And it's what's so important. It's what I believe makes life fulfilling. And I'm actually, it's the other way around. He gave me the opportunity, your son, because to have this platform to be able to speak to people on these topics so that they can see us in them and them in us in terms of what it takes to work hard, to build trusting relationships, to take care of yourself, to take care of others. is so important for that message to get out, and you're doing that. And that's why I said I'm so honored and privileged to have you on here, because to talk to a leader like you is something special, and we can leave that behind and let people know that the possibilities are out there. You just got to put the work in there, and then trust and love. That trust that you have.
Just trust and love.
Is what
I
it
think
is.
I love my community.
Yeah.
I love Newburgh. I love New York.
Absolutely.
I love my Mexico.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
I'm never gonna stop being Mexican. I'm always gonna be Mexican.
That's right.
But guess what? I came to Newburgh, and I came to the United States, and like I was talking to my friend yesterday, it's when you go to somebody else's house, you have to go there and respect their way of living and the rules.
Yeah.
You're not gonna come to their house and tell them this is how I do it at my house.
Yeah. Exactly.
At the moment that you respect the laws, you're not, you're coming to another country.
Yeah.
That it's not your country. So now you raise your family here. Now that's, they're from here.
Exactly.
So there's totally different. But where we come from, probably it's not the same.
Yeah.
And don't expect to be the same.
Exactly.
You're coming to a different country with different laws. So you just have to respect.
Yeah.
At the moment you respect the other individual, I think everything just flows.
Exactly. Man, that was excellent in what you just said. So in terms of if people are out there and they're looking to get their furniture upholstered and things of that nature, and also any nonprofit organizations that you want to shout out, do you want to just let people know how to get in contact with you, or any type of causes that you're involved in?
Well, yes. If they want to have anything reupholstered, they can email us to r-ramos2010@hotmail.com and send us pictures of the pieces that you want to do, your questions, or you can call us at 845-565-8280, and or you are welcome to our shop, to 191 Little Britain Road in Newburgh. And we're there from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 8 to 2 on Saturdays, for any personal jobs.
Okay.
But what I want to do, and I would like to invite people, and this is something that Alex and I were been talking about, because I'm not too familiar how to start an internship, with people, but we were planning to do it on Sundays for a few hours, for 3 to 4 hours, for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and then train people to do, upholstery or sewing.
Yeah.
So that's something that I want to do. And also, I don't remember the name of the organization, but Jimmy, he's going to start a platform with people who wants to learn different skills. With electricity, if they want to learn plumbing, construction. And he said, maybe upholstery can be another,
That's great.
I don't know too much information about it, but maybe in the future we can talk more.
Absolutely, and we'll put the information on the liner notes for the YouTube channel as well as the podcast, so that people can follow you. Whatever Instagram handles you have, and Facebook and all that other stuff, so that people can follow you and continue to follow the path of maybe those internships, which would be that would be a great thing. And we'll talk more about that without a doubt, because I believe bringing opportunities to people creatively is going to be so important, and such a skill to have, that people need upholstery, and they need it done professionally. And what you've been doing, and with your family, with your friends, with community, with your business, I'm just so happy and proud that I am a friend of yours, and just honored to have you on the podcast. And I thank you once again.
I thank you.
From the bottom of my heart.
Thank you for thinking of me and
absolutely
having me here.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Take care.